Hello, everyone. I am Rasna Dak. I'm so excited to be here today teaching you all about manifestation and embodiment. I'm a business and mindset coach, and I help my clients use their internal strategies using methods and frameworks that I've seen works for myself and my clients to really co-create with the universe. So this is about bringing in all of your desires using your own strategy because everything happening to you and for you is done through co-creation, and I'm going to teach you how. So let's get into this training. I am going to just share my screen with you just to show you some notes. And I'm super excited to show you this new method. So as I said, this is all about manifestation, co-creation, and to really see how you are actually in control of everything that you want to bring out into the world, whether you realize it or not. Everything happening around you is because you called it in, whether you believe it or not. This could be a form of your thoughts, beliefs, actions. Everything that you are doing currently is the way that you are experiencing other things, other goals, other desires. So the first step to all of this is embodiment piece. So the success codes are within. Manifestation comes as a form of internal strategy. This isn't about wishing and hoping, it's co-creation. And how can you do that today? What do you have to let go of is the first thing that you want to do when you ask yourself how you can do that today. What are some beliefs that simply aren't true, right? What are some of the experiences that you've experienced or the results that you've experienced that aren't on par with where you're headed? Well, I'm here to tell you that this is part of the manifestation process. Anything that you have gone through, whether good or bad, was actually meant to be there to actually bring you forward to the desire that you would like to experience. This is because when we are manifesting something and we go through triggers or emotions, possibly even some trauma that come in the way or some scarcity and fear, that was meant to be there for you in order for you to actually transcend that and change that and shift that into something bigger and better so that when you do have your manifestation, it is perceived and experienced in a whole new, better way. Does that make sense? So anything you're experiencing right now, there's no good or bad. It's simply neutral. And when we can see it as neutral instead of having this narrative of good or bad on it, that's when we can actually move forward in higher energy, which allows our action, our thoughts and beliefs to be higher as well, therefore receive our desires more effortlessly. Because when we're walking around the world and something's not working out, our energy starts to leak because our thoughts are saying things like, why isn't this working? This isn't for me. I wish that this could happen sooner and faster. Why is it taking so long? Our energy starts to leak. Therefore, the way we take action just isn't backed up with enough belief or trust. But when you can actually see that whatever is happening right now is actually happening for your highest self, that's when everything can shift for you. Right? Because now you're seeing that this one lesson is not a failure. This one lesson was actually here so that I can turn it into something better, turn this belief into something else, turn this trigger or emotion into something else so that I can move on to the next part, next step of my manifestation in more clarity, in more peace, in more freedom like emotions. Does that make sense? Because now imagine all of the clarity that you have in yourself and in your body, you will actually have more capacity to receive more abundance from the universe simply because you will let go of any baggage that has been coming your way through this process. You were meant to experience what you experienced this far so that you can actually make room for what's needed. So, this goes into manifesting into the 3D and quantum world. So when you manifest from a place of not having, this is when we start to see that our energy starts to leak and we start to notice that we don't have what we desire. For example, affirmations and visualization are all wonderful and work. But first, I want to say when you affirm things, when you're doing affirmations in the morning or evening, you want to actually believe those affirmations. We could be saying all the things and all this stuff with the affirmations, but if we don't actually believe it, there's no actually moving in the brain. The brain is still staying in the same beliefs. The brain are still believing the same beliefs. And things you will see stay the same. But when you want opportunities and experiences to start flowing towards you, this comes from you actually believing in what you want to believe in. So you might be wondering, okay, but like I could just believe it and say it, but it's really about letting go of what doesn't belong. So this means really seeing, where did this belief come from? As I just mentioned, like, why is it there? Is it through a past experience? And why am I believing into this? And you can ask yourself, is this a fact or a fear? So most of the time you'll see that it's just a fear, because it's not a fact that it's not working out for you. It's not a fact that this isn't meant for you. Those are just fears coming through. And when you see that, you can handle it with more grace. You can handle it with more compassion and see that the fear is actually taking over and you have control over fear, because fear is just an emotion, and emotions are controllable. Emotions, you decide whether you take it in as a belief or not, right? So when you see it that way, you're actually able to transcend those beliefs into something better. And slowly, the more you do this, the mind will actually start to believe these truths and see them as you. Does that make sense? So when you are visualizing, we sometimes visualize the life that we desire, the life that we want. But when we come back into the 3D world and we're operating, doing our work, showing up online for our businesses, for our goals, for our desires, we start to see more and more that we don't have what we desire yet. Right? And therefore, our goals are always going to be in the future. They're always going to be over here, not in front of us. And even if you don't see it in front of you, it's actually in front of you, even if you don't physically have it in your hand. You know why? Because we are living our manifestation right now. We are in the process of receiving it, which means we're living our manifestation right now, whether it feels comfortable or uncomfortable, whether it's desirable or not. Right? So when we are manifesting and visualizing our dream life, you don't want to do it in the sense of, I don't have it, so that's why I'm going to visualize it. You don't want to come back into the 3D world after this meditation and say, oh, I still don't have the life that I desire, because you're sending out signals to the universe that you still don't have what you desire, which means your energy leaks, which means the way you start showing up and thinking about your goals and your whatever goals they might be, income goals, finances, career, desires, whatever it might be, you're going to start showing up in those beliefs and goals like you don't have it. And what happens then? The way you take action is going to be done through hustling, through just doing whatever works, just throwing things out there instead of being very intentional with it. And how do you be more intentional with it? Is that you seeing that things are working out right now. Things are perfect right now. You being intentional is listening to your intuition, whether it makes sense or not. Right? So you want to visualize from the quantum field for the creativity aspect. You want to say, this would be fun. This would make me tingle. This would make me very excited. Coming back into the 3D world, coming back and living your life, going to work, doing the things in the sense of what could be. What is the best thing that could happen to me today or this week or this month? Not because you're missing anything, not because you visualize something and now you realize that it's not in your life right now, but in the sense of, how can I make that come true? What do I have to do today? And remember, while you do this, you want to detach from the outcome, from the how, because you might think that to receive that visualization, to receive that desire, you have to do certain things. But this is where we get caught up. We get caught up in the how. You might be thinking, okay, well, I need to know what to do. Well, what if you listened to your intuition a little bit more? What if you listened and trusted what's come your way and taken action on that? Because so many times we let go of the things that we are meant to be doing because we think that this is not the right way, because we think it has to be society's norms way, because we think that this is how we were told to do things. And we stop listening to ourselves. We stop listening to what feels right for us. Does that make sense? So when you actually trust and believe and start manifesting for the excitement side of it, you start doing things that don't make logical sense. You start doing things almost in a delusional way, which is actually perfect, which is actually amazing, because that's what we're meant to be doing. right? So manifest in the quantum for the creativity aspect, coming back into the 3D reality and seeing that everything is working out, but the excitement you felt and the emotions you felt through manifesting and visualizing in the quantum field is what you want to carry on. Because those emotions, if you can feel them, you can have it in your physical reality. The first step is always feeling the emotion. And when you have that, you've already cultivated most of your manifestation. And now all that's needed is to take action in that energy that you're feeling through the visualization. Because here's the thing, if you start feeling like you still don't have what you want when you come back to the 3D world, when you're operating, doing all the things that you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis, and you're still feeling like you don't have what you want, the action you take will be done in the sense of I don't still don't have what I want. Your beliefs will be like, it's still not working out. And then what happens? It takes longer. The process feels not as clean. You don't feel like you have clarity. You feel like you're lacking energy. You're walking around, you're hanging out with friends and family, and you're still not feeling like yourself. As opposed to it's happening. I'm living my manifestation. You will walk around the world in so much more trust, so much more confidence. Imagine what would happen then. Okay. So this is where I'm talking about you're not lacking anything. Everything happening right now is a form of your manifestation. You are living the manifestation as we speak. If you truly started to believe this, how would you start to show up? How differently would you believe and trust in yourself? How would you appreciate and have gratitude for the experiences and knowledge you have cultivated through your experiences? Can you look back on your journey and see how much you've learned, how much you've actually grown? Because that was your manifestation. That growth period you had, that experience that you had was actually your manifestation. And when you think back on it, you'll realize, wow, that experience got me to where I am today. That experience made me this much more confident. That experience taught me something that I can teach my clients about now. And you'll see that that experience was needed in order for you to actually have the full spectrum of your manifestation and experience it with so much love and gratitude, to be able to actually take it in. Because here's the thing, if you were to experience and have your manifestation or your desire or your goal very early on into your process, do you think you would have known enough? Do you think you would have known how to handle things enough? Do you think your nervous system would have been on par with where you're headed? Right? Because so many times we think we want it fast, but we forget there are lessons we need to learn before we have it. There is more knowledge for us to cultivate. So if you can see, wow, I'm learning so much for that when my manifestation actually comes, when I have all the income, when I have all the clients, when I have my dream goals, dream job, I'm going to know exactly how to handle it. I'm going to know exactly what to do with it. Right? Because so many times our energy leaks again and again because we start realizing we don't have what we desire. We start realizing that it's still not working out. We start realizing that it's taking so long. And then the way we take action is just not on par to where we're headed. And this is where I'm going to start talking more about embodiment, because if we want to show up like we already have what we desire, like it's already working out, we have to show up like it's already done. But that doesn't just happen through us just saying it's working out. This happens to us actually believing that it's working out so that we can then get up in the mornings and run our day like it's already done. So what does this mean? I want you to take out a piece of paper on your own time when you do have the chance, put on some good music and write down what are some of the things that you would be doing if you already had your goals, all the beliefs, all the trust, like everything was happening for you. You would wake up in the morning, maybe go for a walk, maybe have a nice green tea sitting on the couch or on the porch outside. Maybe you would be going to the cafe and reading a book and having a coffee there. Maybe you would be reading a book at home and waking up a little bit earlier. How would you be dressing? Right? This is important too. So, in what ways would you dress? Do you get ready in the mornings? Do you get ready in midday? What does that look like for you? And then what are your routines? Do you meditate in the morning and at night? Do you have like dance parties with yourself? What are some of your routines that you do? And most importantly, how do you feel? How are you feeling on a day to day basis? And how are you handling certain things? So, for example, right now you might be handling certain things that come your way with a little bit of lack energy, feeling like it's not working out, or you don't know how to handle things, or you're not believing that things are happening when something happens that you don't desire, right? When something doesn't work out, you might be thinking, oh, that's it. I've tried. But what if you already had what you desired and you experienced something? How would you handle it? You would probably handle it with more grace and compassion, knowing you already have everything you desire. I don't need to worry. That's the way that we want to run in our own world. That's the way we want to co-create, right? It's through knowing it's already happening, knowing that this experience is leading me to something bigger, knowing that this experience is actually helping me reach my manifestation because I'm meant to learn this, transcend this, I'm meant to shift through this so that I actually have the capacity for my manifestation, so that I can actually anchor in my manifestation more powerfully, so that I can be there for my manifestation more powerfully because I've transcended any emotions or triggers that don't belong, right? So, as I mentioned, this is how to show up like her, right? It's the way you embody the version of yourself who isn't missing anything, right? This is also means dissolving the beliefs and understanding where they came from first. Only then you can assess where the ego is taking over and when your highest self is co-creating with you. And this is exactly what I want to go over with you. So here's the thing. We can show up as our highest selves all we want. And sometimes you'll be showing up like her or him, and you'll see, oh, I still don't have what I want. Oh, it's still not working out. And that's the ego talking. So when the ego comes in, it's simply there to protect you. The ego is there to tell you and teach you that you're not safe, that it's not working out. But this isn't doing to harm you. This is it speaking to protect you. So when you have words coming up that aren't on par with where you're headed, it's because the ego is protecting you because it doesn't know the difference between what you desire and what you don't. It's only trying to keep you safe because as soon as you enter a new field of taking new leaps, taking risks, starting a business, starting new goals, the ego actually sees this as danger, right? Because you're stepping into a new environment, you're stepping into a new place of new realities. And then your mindset is changing, your beliefs are changing, the nervous system is changing. So all of that makes a big difference in the way that you're showing up. And this is when you have to learn the difference between the ego and highest self. Here's the thing, you want the highest self to be living in your reality, to be driving, not the ego. Because once the highest self is driving, once the highest self is there, you're actually co creating so much more powerfully because the highest self knows its desires. The highest self knows what's next. And they know the answers. The highest self knows the answers. The ego is keeping you a little bit back. The ego is telling you don't do it. The ego is saying keep you safe, but you might get it mixed up saying, oh, that's just a sign I shouldn't go after it. That's just a reason why I need to stop and go back to my old reality. But what's more uncomfortable? Going after it and going through all the new processes or staying where you are? I would say staying where you are is more uncomfortable because you're always going to have the thought of what if I tried? What if I didn't let my mind win? And this is when I always say you have to become friends with the mind. If something happens through your thoughts and beliefs or actions and it's not working, you feel like it's not working out, you tell your mind, it is happening. It's happening for me, and I'm going to keep on going. And you give it grace. You say, thank you for protecting me. Thank you for being there for me. But I know that this is right for me. And once you take that leap, as scary and uncomfortable it might feel to you and your nervous system, the least resistance you're going to have to taking more and more leaps. Because now your nervous system is getting on par with the leaps and risks and that really scary feeling, that tingly feeling in your stomach. It's going to start getting used to that becomes your new norm. You want to become comfortable with getting uncomfortable. That's the goal. So this doesn't happen by staying in the same spot, hoping and wishing it's going to happen. This happens by literally taking a risk. This happens by literally doing something new anytime you have the desire. So, oh, and I just realized that there's the at sign, the right over here. That I forgot to take out. I'm sorry. I don't know whose at that is. Um, so moving on to the new concept. So this is the new concept of manifestation, right? So this is what you have in store. Take some time to write down all of your beliefs, where they came from, and what you choose to believe instead. Give yourself proof as to why they're true. And every day, switch up your thoughts. Think differently. And remember, your highest self knows what's best. It's time to start listening and trusting it. You've got this. And if it feels scary, if it feels like it's taking too long, you have to remember again that it is the ego speaking. And we are not supposed to be in control. And as much as that feels a little bit weird and a little bit uncomfortable, like I'm the one creating the goal, so why am I not creating what I desire? Well, here's the thing, our highest self is creating the goals, our highest self is creating what's meant for us. These desires are actually sent down from the universe. And for us to capture it, feel it, and see it, it is our responsibility as a service to go after it and do the things we're supposed to be doing. Right? And you might be wondering, okay, well, then I need to know how to make this desire that's come through from the universe to happen. Well, you have to listen to your intuition and trust and surrender to the process as well, because these desires could come and right away you're like, okay, what do I need to do? What's the logical thing? But if you just slow down a little bit and you actually listen to your intuition, you actually listen to what's meant for you, what way feels best for you, even if it's not logical, you'll have the most fun with it. This could be like a new random program you come up with. This could be you applying to a job that you think is far out of reach. Whatever it may be, if things don't make sense, you still do it. You still go ahead and take that chance, because we're not here to make logical sense of things. We're not here for logical goals. We're here to step outside of the norm. And stepping out of the norm requires making decisions that feel scary. Stepping out of the norm means making decisions that don't make sense. Because those are the exact things that the universe is trying to send you. And when you listen to one answer and you take action on it, the others come. They one step at a time, right? You take the action on the first step, the second answer comes, and the next step comes. The third step comes, the fourth step, and you'll realize it's not really a step by step when you actually see it. You see that it actually happens so smoothly. You'll realize, oh, I understand why I went through this. I understand why this didn't work out. I understand why I took this path instead of that path. You'll understand that it all made sense. And this is exactly how more opportunities and experiences start coming your way. Because when you take an intuitive nudge and you take action on it, someone might reach out to you. Maybe a collab will reach out to you. Maybe some new opportunity comes your way and you say yes. And then that opportunity, saying yes to that opportunity, leads to the next experience, to the next milestone, to the next phase in your life, right? But it doesn't happen through just sitting and wishing and hoping and ignoring all the things you want to be doing, because when you know you're meant for something special, you know it. When you know you're meant for something big, you know it. And that's not something to just sit on. That's not something to ignore. That's something special. You have this intuitive calling. And you are meant, you are the chosen one to do what you're meant to be doing. And I tell this to my clients all the time, that if you are handed a direction, if you are handed this very big project, this very big desire in your mind, it's because you were chosen from the universe to do it because you could handle it. Because it's not easy, it's not going to be easy. But you were chosen because are the one who are able to actually move through the processes, the triggers, the emotions, the learnings, the knowledge that's coming through. You were the one who were chosen to be able to handle all that. You were the one who were chosen to be able to do it all. And when you see it that way, you see, wow, this is a gift, this is a service for me in the world, and I'm going to do it because it was sent from the universe, right? You were the one who was chosen. So when you put together all of these elements, the way of manifesting through the quantum field, letting go of old beliefs, and actually believing into better beliefs that actually match where you're going. So seeing, okay, what do I actually want to believe in? Depending on where I'm headed, what would actually benefit me, and actually believing into those beliefs by proof around you. So you can ask yourself and recall moments where you've, transcended new moments when you shifted and seeing, wow, I am meant for this, right? So really believing into those beliefs through proof and through affirmations, through believing them at all times, right? So when you do this form of manifestation, you see that you actually co-create with the universe. You see that you are actually able to shift things, thoughts, beliefs, actions, because when you could shift those, you shift the way things come into your reality. Does that make sense? Because we don't actually realize all of your manifestations are up here. Because once your thoughts are on par, your beliefs are on par, the way you take action is on par. Then the way the results come are differently. Because now you're thinking differently about your goals, which means you're taking action differently, which means the results coming in are differently, and you're taking opportunities and experiences and you're not missing them because you're seeing them, because you're listening to them. So, how would it feel if you started doing manifestation this way? What would change for you? Right? And I'm excited to see what comes about with your experiences and your new knowledge and your new concept in manifestation. And please do reach out to me if you do have any questions. Please do reach out to me if you've experienced some new things. I would love to hear it. I am so excited to hear about your guys' experience, and I'm so happy that I got a chance to be here with you today. If you need any other support in manifestation or embodiment, my Instagram handle is rasna.dak, and you can find me there. And I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day.